electrical signals from the brake and steering. The nose wheel steering actuator cylinder provides nose wheel steering inputs. The cylinder receives pressure from the yellow hydraulic system and receives electrical signals from the brake and steering control unit, or BSCU. The BSCU receives commands from the steering hand wheels. The commands from the steering hand wheels are summed to provide steering control signals. The BSCU also receives orders from the rudder pedals and the autopilot during Autoland, if engaged. Notice that the maximum nose wheel steering angle from the rudder pedal deflection is 6 degrees to either side, while the hand wheels provide a steering angle up to 75 degrees to either side. The BSCU transforms these signals into nose wheel steering angles that are limited as shown on the graphs on this frame. Regardless of the command to the nose wheel steering, the BSCU limits the steering angle according to ground speed as shown on these graphs. The hand wheels are not normally used for takeoff or landing except when necessary. The rudder pedals are used for steering control during takeoff, and the washout of nose wheel steering occurs as the pedal control of the rudder takes over. The steering actuator receives hydraulic pressure if the yellow hydraulic system is pressurized, and the anti-skid and nose wheel steering switch is on. The towing control lever is in the normal position. At least one engine is running, and the aircraft is on the ground. Additionally, the nose gear doors must be closed in order for the yellow hydraulic system to apply pressure to the actuation cylinder. An amber display of nose wheel steering appears on the ECAM wheel page, and the ECAM caution occurs if the nose wheel steering or anti-skid fails or if they're turned off. The anti-skid and nose wheel steering switch is on prior to pushback, and the steering display should be blank. Well, during pushback, ground personnel will set the towing control lever to the tow position, and this condition is displayed as a green memo of nose wheel steering disconnect. The tow control lever deactivates the steering system and allows the nose wheels to be manually turned up to 95 degrees in either direction. After the first engine is started, the nose wheel steering disconnect display changes to amber to alert the crew of the disconnected steering prior to taxi. After pushback, when the tow control lever is selected to the normal position, the crew regains control of the nose wheel steering, and the nose wheel steering disconnect memo blanks. There is a momentary rudder pedal disconnect push button on the steering hand wheel. The pilot flying will press this button to deactivate the nose wheel steering temporarily during the flight control check. This push button prevents orders from the rudder pedals or the autopilot from going to the BSCU and will disable nose wheel steering during the flight control check of the rudder pedals. Release of this push button will again enable the nose wheel steering. After takeoff, an internal cam centers the nose wheel steering prior to gear retraction. Nose wheel steering remains disabled until the aircraft is again on the ground.